how is it to be here in Newcastle again then? Because the last time you were here was...
It's pretty good. It's a beautiful city. I forgot how big and the city is. It's a pretty awesome city. It's pretty industrial looking, you know?
What can you remember about your time last time then?
This guy and that thing, right? That funny looking thing. What was that thing again?
Congas.
Congas, yeah.
Ian, it was Trevor from the Long Sands band.
Did you win or...?
I didn't do that good. I didn't do well.
So how long are you in England for then?
Another week, I believe. Yeah, 1 more week and then I go home. I had a good time too. This time was real smooth. We had our bus this time. You know, things are all cool. We're on our bus. It's like a little tour bus, like we're on tour.
So the Broadway show, because you've kind of turned to acting a little bit.
Yeah, I did a Broadway show for 2 weeks. I did 15 shows, and it was a smashing hit, which I'm very fortunate. And we're going to do the West End eventually, sometime this winter. And yeah, this winter we'll do the West End Theater here in England. And then we're going to do a little national tour in the country of America. And then on our tour in America, we're going to stop over to do the West End too when we finish.
So and that'll be in London, the West End of London,
We want to do the West End. That's pretty big. That's like doing London in England. That's like doing Broadway in England.
Yeah. Any plans to bring it up north or?
Absolutely. I would love to do that. It's pretty interesting show. We've got good reviews, and I'm looking forward to continue doing it.
Because you sort of, obviously with The Hangover and things like that, you turned to acting a little bit. And
exactly. We're going to even start, me and my wife, we have this production company called Tyrannic. And as you know, we have a clothing line as well, Tyson clothing line is coming out soon. And we're going to produce our own movies and shows for television, and also our Broadway show. And we're going to also do Mike Tyson life story, that kind of stuff.
Because I'm sure, like, obviously there's a big, broad fan base here in the northeast, and I think to bring it up here.
But more so than in the south. It's really, which I'm really grateful for. Really grateful.
And have you just set up a new sort of charity and things? What was?
Oh yeah, Mike Tyson Cares.
Yeah. What's
and
that?
It's a charity basically for broken families, mostly. Cause you know, sometimes in America, I guess the welfare system works. If you have a man in the house and you're not working, you're not on welfare, you have to get out. Something to that effect, and that's it's a form of breaking up families. So we're trying to get people. We're trying to also let the husbands and some of the family let them know also, even though they may be felons that had in their prior life had some bad experience with the law, let them know and educate them that they can still vote. You know, felons can still vote in America, but a lot of them are not aware that they can still vote, and they can have their vote can mean something, and that's all really. I don't think America, but in any country that's a democratic country, the right to vote. That's more important than your money. The right to have a say so. You know. And most people that are felons and convicted, they don't have they don't have, they're not educated enough to be able to vote. You know, they're felons. They always believe that they're felons. You can't vote no more. You know, vote, but that's not true in America.
So is that the main aim of the charity then?
Mike Tyson Cares.
Yeah. Is this sort of all to paint a new image of yourself?
I don't know if it's a new image. You know, people in life, you know, I understand that from my experience in life, Kate, I realize that we're people that's in, well, at least I am, but I saw in the master, we're people that's in learning process of life. And we know we contradict ourselves so many times because things we really die hard believe at 19, we don't believe at 29 anymore, 35 or 45 anymore. So we're constantly adapting to the society and the world around us, almost like, in a weird way, it's like being emptying your mind out, you know, reshaping your mind, you know, like water, so to speak, just reshaping yourself. You put water in the bottle of the cup, it reshapes itself in the shape of the bottle of the cup, and you have to shape yourself for the future, for you to be ready for the future. And that's what it's all about. And what I'm really trying to say about this particular subject is just, we have to learn to adapt. You have to adapt to times. The times, as you know, are changing so fast. At one time, we all had money spending it like it was crazy, and all of a sudden, on the brakes. you know, and everyone feels that, you know. We have to adapt our living style, our lifestyle, and if you want to survive, because, you know, at 20, you never thought the world would be like this, you know, everything goes great, and then you hit the realities of life on life terms, you know, and that's what life is. Life is a struggle, you know what I mean? And that's just what it is. It's not meant to be easy. You know, you can make it easy by the choices you made, but it's meant to, no one gets out of here free. Nobody gets out of here without enduring pain, you know. That's just what I think the world is. It's one big school. That's why I look at the world as a big school, and we learn. We don't get another diploma or anything. We learn from hard knocks, you know, and happy dreams too.
And what about your neck then?
Well, I
had a bit of an injury.
No, it was the back of my neck, my disc. I had a bad motorcycle accident like 14 years ago, and I never knew my arm. You know, I never knew I damaged some nerves. It's so much better now. I was in so much pain I couldn't believe it. But I'm so happy I got the operation, man.
When was the operation?
Like 2.5 weeks ago.
So how are you feeling now then?
I feel so much better. You know, before I was just in so much pain before that. I can't believe I lived this long with all that pain without even going to the hospital. You know, when you're young and you have fights, you don't want to get operated on. You think he's going to hold you up. You can't make your money no more. You can't live your life no more. So most boxers, they live with their injuries. Those athletes, period. But they come back to haunt you and stuff.
So would you sort of get back in the ring, do you think? Or
no way.
No way.
No way. I can't believe I did that. You know, comes a time when you get in your life, wow, I really did that stuff, and people making a big thing of it. I'm like, whoa, isn't it over? But I don't know. It's just something I did, you know, and my life is just so much on a different path as far as my charity and being focused on my children and my wife. If you told me when I was a young kid that I would want to do this stuff, not be outside and party and have 20 girlfriends outside, I would say you're crazy. Because you think that's the only life I want. I live to live that life, you know. That's why I wanted to be the great fighter, so if I could live that life. You just realize time prepares you even to grow up, even if you don't want to. It's the time to grow up now, Mike. It just tells you, you know.
I mean, you know, sort of boxing, promoting and things like that. Is there any advice you would give to Steve?
I've got my professional boxing promotion licence now.
Yeah.
I did my first show 6 weeks ago, so I'm after a bit of advice.
This is the interesting thing about boxing. I'm going to tell you something. Boxing is the only business that everything's not totally on top of the table. I'm sure you witnessed that in your experience. And so that's what we have to, I would think, I know a lot of people don't like it. I think boxing should be authorized by the government, overran by the government. You know, so the government can be responsible. You know, because these people in boxing, you can't be in boxing, I don't believe, almost, and not be a thief. You know, it can turn the most scrupulous man into a thief. You know, the lifestyle. You know, can make you, he has really good number on you.
So, what advice would you give Steve starting off and keep your head on the feet on the ground? Or?
No, you can't keep your feet on the ground. No way. You have to protect yourself. We have no friends. This is why this is so interesting. The guys that are me and you and stuff, we'd be friends, but we was in this business together. We wouldn't be friends. Yeah. You know, this is just a really cold business.
Does money spoil it? Is it down to money?
It's not the money. It's the people's love for the money.
Right.
The money's not doing nothing. It's just there. It's up to you what it's going to turn you on for, I guess. You know. You know, we all want money so bad, want so many, and then one day we get it. And then sometimes the way we got it, we wonder, we start to think, God, was it really worth it? You know? I don't know. We all have to live with our demons and our conscience. And that's what it really comes down to, our relationship with God and whatever you have going. That's what really matters. You have to work. You have to take care of your business. This is your business.
It is now, yeah.
This is all. You have to make sure you come out on top of this.
Yeah.
Because they'll take advantage of you. Fighters will take advantage. Everybody take advantage of you.
Yeah. This
is where you got to overlook it. You have to be judge. You know what I mean? Jury and execution in this promoter business.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people go say, "Hey, watch out! He's like a tough promoter." But if you're not tough, they'll eat you alive.
Okay.
You know, it's all about protecting yourself. Isn't that crazy?
Good advice.
You gotta be hard to somebody. That's not your nature, but you gotta be that way because you're not your dad in this business. Yeah. You know, there's no friends. It's really pretty cutthroat. People say we're friends, we've been partners, but this is a pretty interesting business to keep your scruples. You know.
No, thanks for that. Good advice.